Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. In this video I'd love to show you how to crochet Snom from Pokémon. Now this guy works up pretty quickly, and I personally would say he is beginner friendly as he only really uses 3 stitches, which is single crochet, increase and decrease, and that's in US terminology. But there is quite a bit of sewing, so if you're not keen on sewing, apologies in advance. But I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous little grub Pokemon. He is just so cute. So let's move on to the materials. You'll need your 4mm crochet hook, which is also known as a G, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, an optional stitch marker. Now I will be using this because I love them, they are a godsend, and some stuffing. Now as for yarn, all you'll need is a bit of white for the nose area, a bit of nice pale blue, and just a little bit of black for the eyes. So this guy works up pretty quickly, and like I said, he is pretty beginner friendly. And there is a bit of a colour change here, so I'll go over that when we get to it. And just like some of my other videos, I actually have a written tutorial of this guy, a written pattern of Snom available for anybody who would be interested in that. I'll link it down in the description below, and if you choose to go for the written pattern, just so you know, it is purchasable. It's not expensive, but it helps me as a independent creator. You'll be supporting me directly as a pattern designer, so thank you if you opt in for that. So let's get on with the pattern. So we're going to take up our white yarn and we're going to create a magic ring containing 8 stitches. So now that we've done the magic ring, I'm going to display part of the pattern here, and I'm going to cut it off at the colour change so I can show you how to do that and then continue with it. So if you'd like to pause the video, work at your own pace, rewind it if necessary, and I'll see you at the colour change. Okay, so now we've finished round 13, what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke my hook straight through the centre of the nose here and grab hold of that starting tail and pull it through. I'm just going to pop a knot on there so it won't fall back out. There we go, so there's the nose, and this is the first part of the whole body done, so we're up to here now. So for the colour change, what we're going to do is take up our blue yarn, insert our hook into the next stitch, like so, grab the blue, hook onto it, pull it through that first stitch, and then just do a slip stitch, so just pull it straight through that white and then pull this white tail nice and tight. And now for round 14 we're going to single crochet all the way around, and that stitch that we did just there is going to count as our first single crochet. So we're going to single crochet 39 more times for a total of 40, and I will continue the pattern displayed here, now working in this blue. So I'll see you at the end. So now that we've finished round 33, I just want to take a minute to finish stuffing this little bum here, because as you can see there's no stuffing around there. So I'm just going to finish stuffing this, and then I'm going to end it off with a nice ultimate finish. Okay, so there we go, his body's really starting to take shape now. So there's a couple of lumps and bumps visible on mine, and if this is also happening for you, what you can do is just very gently roll the whole thing and it will even that stuffing out nicely. There we go, that's a lot better. And now you can see where my colour change was. So this is going to be the belly of Snom, this is going to be the underside, so we're going to put all the details on top. So moving on to the details, all we have left to do is to make these nice cute little mouth niblets, his eyes, and then all of these spikes. And this is probably the worst part when it comes to sewing if you're not a fan of sewing, just because there's so many of them. But the biggest part is out of the way, making the body. So let's move on. We'll start by making these. So taking up your white yarn, we're going to start the mouth pieces off by creating a magic ring with 6 stitches. There we go, so now for round 1 I'm just going to increase all the way around, so I'll have a total of 12 stitches in round 1. Now for round 2, I'm going to single crochet and then increase all the way around, so I'll have 18 stitches in round 2. Now from rounds 3 to 5, so that's round 3, round 4 and round 5, I'm just going to single crochet all the way around with 18 stitches in each round. There we go. So that's one part of the mouth. So now I'll just ask you to pause the video, rewind and make another one of these. So we have 2, and let's move on to the spikes. So switching back over to our blue yarn, we're going to start with a magic ring containing 8 stitches. There we go, so that's my magic ring. So just like before, I'm going to display the small pattern here for these spikes, and I'm going to crack on and I'll see you at the end. There we go. So I've left myself a long tail, as we'll be using that to sew the spikes onto the body. And now for this starting one, I want you to pull it nice and tight, pop a knot on the top there, and then we're going to turn it inside out. And the reason for that is because this gives it more of a defined point, as you can see. So that's the inside out version, that's the one that we just worked. And this is a lot rounder, this is a lot smoother. Well, we want that nice pointed end, so that's why we're popping it inside out. There we go. So now I'll ask you to pause the video again, rewind, and please don't hate me, but can you make 9 more of these? So we have 10 total, and then I'll meet you back here when you've done that. Sorry again. And finally, let's make the eyes. Now this is a nice easy one after all those spikes. Sorry again for that. But taking up your black yarn, I'm just going to create a magic ring of 8 stitches. There we go, that was a nice easy one. So we only need 2 of these, and just pull that circle tight, pop a knot in it so it won't come undone, and then just snip that excess tail off. There we go, so that's all of the pieces made when you have 2 of these. So let's start and get the assembly ready. Okay, so here's all my pieces. I've got the body, I've got the mouth, all of the spikes that's just a mess of yarn, and the eyes. So I'm just going to take a minute to roll up a little bit of stuffing and just bulk out the mouth bit and just bulk out the spikes a little bit, and I'll ask you to do the same as well. I'm only going to use a little bit for each one and just roll it up nicely. I don't want to see the stuffing poking through the stitches. I just want to give it that bit of shape. Okay, so that's every piece stuffed. It's not too firm, I can still squash it, and don't squash the stuffing out, but I can still squash it. And biggest thing is I can't see the stuffing through the stitches, and that's the most important thing. So now we need to pin everything together. So looking at this snub, we'll use this guy for reference, but just remember that this colour change here is going to be on the belly. So what I'm going to do is ask you to carefully pin the mouth pieces straight onto the bottom of the mouth. You can see where the magic ring is of this original Snom. Okay, so I've got my little mouth pieces pinned on here. So now I'm just going to move on to the spikes, and to get the spikes right we're going to need 2 on each side like so, 1 straight onto the bum, so any holes that might be present where you can see the stuffing through, don't worry, that'll be covered. So 2 on each side, 1 on the bum, and then on the top we want it so there's 2 just above the 2 on the side and 1 straight in the middle. So I'm going to pin all of mine together and just play around with the placements, make sure everything fits in together, and like I say, I'm going to pin all mine together and then I'll see you back here in a few minutes. There we go. I think I'm happy with the placement. I'm just making sure that he can sit flat. So I'm just going to move his mouth up a little bit on this side actually, just because he's struggling to, he's rocking to one side from where I can see. Yeah, he's fine now. So with the placements, make sure that you play around with them and use as many pins as you need. But as you can see, I've got the 2 on the side, 1 on the bum, 2 on this side, 2 just above, and then 1 splat bang in the middle. So he's looking pretty much the same as the original one that I made. And that's a lot of, oh, it's a good job I don't mind sewing. So that's a lot of parts to sew on. So in regards to sewing, I would recommend that you sew these bottom ones on first and then move up onto those 4 and then the top one last. I will sew one of them with you and then I will skip ahead and you catch up in your own time. I'm just going to thread up my yarn needle. I will sew the eyes on as well, I've not forgotten about them. I just want to get all this faff out the way first. So let's crack on with sewing these spikes on. So that's the first one sewn on, and using the power of editing, all these spikes are going to be sewn in place. There we go. So now all of my spikes are sewn on and the little mouthpiece is sewn on. So I'm just going to take a minute to line up the eyes. Now I want them to be pretty much in line with this spike here, the top section, and make sure that it's in line with the other eye on the other side as well. So I've got about a finger there, or three rows from the line. So now I'm just going to make sure that they line up from above and from the front to make sure that they are actually in line. There we go. Yep, that looks about right to me. I'm pretty happy with those placements. So make sure that you play around with your placements, make sure that you're happy with them, and when you're ready, sew them on as neatly as you can. And there we go. That's how you crochet a Snom. Now, it does take a while to sew everything together, but I just love how it turns out, and is a perfect size just for squishing and squeezing. I really do like Snom. I do like his design. Is one of my favourite cute little critters from Pokemon. So thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future tips, tricks and free crochet patterns. And just very quickly, if you do want to make these to sell, that's completely fine by me. Please don't sell the pattern, as I did take a while designing and creating it. All I ask is for credit, if you don't mind. So thank you. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I really hope to see you in the next video. See you then. Bye for now.